And I think we're going to start seeing more and more teams do that. So it's a different scale, obviously, but I think it's a very similar conversation, or it's in the same vein of the conversation that we're having and are going to continue having about Keegan Murray. Because Keegan Murray is a really, really high-level player.
Mm-hmm.
He is a really, really high-level 3-and-D wing, where you feel good about it when he's taking a corner three, and you feel good about it when he's one-on-one against Steph Curry or Donovan Mitchell or whoever. Like you feel that type of player.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easy to just go, yeah, just max him out then. Want to keep him around? Got to give him the max. That rookie scale max. Yeah, do it. But I think if you're the Kings, you're going, hey, man, we kind of think that you're a 3-and-D guy who's not going to really develop as a ball handler, and we don't really envision that role for you. You might envision that for yourself, but we don't really envision you in that role. So how about 23 a year? 23 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? And I don't know. I don't know if Keegan takes that. And that's the calculus that the Kings are I think doing right now.
Well, here's the crazy thing too. I mean, basically Keegan was drafted the year after Kuminga, right? So Kuminga just finished his fourth season. No.
Yes.
Yeah, and Keegan is about to enter his fourth season.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're basically looking at two players that are in some way in similar situations where like the expectations before the first and second apron were, oh yeah, you're just going to max that guy. Like he looks like a max rookie scale extension player.
Yep.
Now, like the dynamics in the NBA have changed so much where, like, again, Kuminga wants 25 to 30 million. That's what the initial thing was. He wants 25 to 30 million. Now he just wants out of there. Now he's willing to accept a 3-year 60, what was it?
3 and 63, 21 a year.
Yeah, something like that. From the Kings. He's like, oh, I want that deal. It's like, hey, where were you a couple of months ago when it was like, hey, you want a 4-120 or 4-130? Like that's kind of off the table. And so I think just the economics of the NBA are changing. They're evolving so quickly in front of us that if you are a team who goes out and does a De'Aaron Fox deal, there's almost no way that deal works out for the Spurs. Like, in all honesty, like I'm not sure what you think, but he's, as a 32-year-old, De'Aaron Fox is going to make $63 million. And is he a top 5 player in the league? Is he a top 8 player in the league? And like, look, I want Fox to get as much money as possible.
Totally.
But you're still looking at that deal and people are like, oh, well, if that's the case, you can trade him. It's like, the hell you can.
Yeah, the only way you're trading him is if he's awesome, like second team All NBA this year.
Yes.
You might be able to trade him, but you would only trade him if Dylan Harper is awesome and Stephon Castle are awesome. And those guys all play the same position. So if those two other guys are awesome, it probably means De'Aaron Fox wasn't.
Yeah, and this is not a slight on De'Aaron Fox, but he's a one-time All-Star.
Sure.
And the one-time All-Star, he wasn't voted in. He was an injury replacement.
Right.
And you're paying him $63 million in 4 years. I mean, that is wild. And so I think the economics of the league are changing. Good for De'Aaron for getting his money now.
Absolutely.
But I think he's also in a situation where just their salary cap situation is pretty good for the next couple of years. Because, again, when Fox falls off the books, that's when Dylan Harper, would have his next major contract. And even at that point, you're not going to pay Fox, whatever money on top of 63 million, another extension that pays him 70 to 80 over the next 4 years, as he ages, as he hits his 33, 34, 35, 36 season. That's not going to happen. So I think the dynamics are shifting and changing so fast, but we're seeing it right now with Kuminga. We're seeing it right now with Giddey and with Cam Thomas and with Quentin Grimes. But we're also I think we're going to start seeing it. We saw with Jabari Smith Jr., who got a really nice extension, but a 5-year 121. Is that what it was? So it's like 24 million, 23 million a year.
Jabari Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where he's at. And then it's like, what exactly are you going to get for Keegan Murray? I think it's going to be similar. I think it's going to be, maybe he makes a little bit more because Jabari Smith is playing on a team that has other players. Go ahead.
So Jabari Smith was a 5 and 122.
122. 5 and 122. And what's that work out to? Like
I don't know.
20.
I can't do that off the top of my head.
24.4. 24.4. That seems to me where it's going to be more around what Keegan's going to make. And, if it's a 125, okay, 25 million a year. And the reason why you're going to pay that if you're the Kings is, number one, there's potential for him to outplay that contract.
Yeah.
There's also potential for you to move on from that contract at any time because it's a reasonable contract for a player of his ilk.
Right. And if he is, and this is where, and it's really difficult to have this conversation because when you say the Hawks shouldn't pay Trae Young, it's the Hawks shouldn't give Trae Young $60 million a year-ish.
Yeah.
That's my take. I would gladly take Trae Young on my team. Probably not at that price.
No, again.
Because of the financial landscape of the league, it's forcing teams to reevaluate how they evaluate talent and how they pay that talent. So with Keegan specifically, if you're paying Keegan Murray $24 million a year, I feel really good about that because you just said there's a chance he just outplays it. You're going, man, that's a good ass deal for Keegan Murray. But even if he doesn't improve, $24.4 million for a guy who's going to give you 12 to 15 points a night. He's going to shoot 37-ish% from three, so teams have to guard him. And you feel good about him guarding 1 through 4 on the opposing team.
And Jokic.
At 24, and apparently Nikola Jokic. At $24.4 million for a starter who's playing high-quality defense, who is not a negative offensively, and in some ways is a plus offensively. $24.4 million for that player is like, okay, that's reasonable. Yeah. That becomes a very now reasonable contract.
Well, that, and the reason why, like that dollar figure, it's the dollar figure that Kyle Kuzma has been in. It's the Cam Johnson dollar figure. It's a little bit lower than the John Collins dollar figure, but it's a contract that that you can move, that those contracts are movable every step of the way. And so, like, he's not going to be an albatross on your roster. Where, like, right now, as of right now, like, I don't consider DeMar DeRozan as an albatross contract. Nope. It's a 1-year deal at $24.5 million with a $10 million, buyout for next season. You can pay him 25.5, or you can give him $10 million bucks, and he won't play for you, right? That's a reasonable contract for a player who can go out and score 22 points a game, but who doesn't play great defense and who is going to be 36 years old this season.
Yep.
That's fine. But you look at Zach LaVine's contract, and there's almost no way for Zach to live up to that contract. And I don't begrudge him for having that contract. It's something that someone else signed, and because he deserved it at the moment that he got it, but it just makes it so prohibitive to build a team around him.
Yeah, and that's just reality. That's not dogging Zach LaVine. That's the reality of the situation.
Well, yeah, and this is what, at the end of last segment, talked about this a little bit, but like, look, if you just traded De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs last year and you did not involve the Chicago Bulls, that means you kept Kevin Huerter in that trade. So you have Kevin Huerter's $18 million expiring or $17.5 million expiring contract right now, right? You also would have taken back Zach Collins in that trade, and you might have had to take back one more player. I can't remember what it is that the Kings actually did get. It was just other stuff, right? In order for the Spurs to match salary, you would have taken on one more of their players. So basically, it's the reverse of the Chris Webber trade. So you remember the Kings traded Chris Webber to the Philadelphia 76ers. And in that trade, they brought back Corliss Williamson, they brought back Brian Skinner, and they brought back Kenny Thomas, and they broke his contract up into thirds, right? And so you can move these pieces a lot easier. Right now, the Sacramento Kings are sitting here. If they had an $18 million player on an expiring contract, Jonathan Kuminga would have already been traded to the Sacramento Kings. Yep. I guarantee it. Because the fact is, right now, the Golden State Warriors don't want to take on Malik Monk and 3 years of Malik Monk.
Correct.
right? And then you don't have another player like that.
And they would feel good about, just in case anybody's wondering, just to pause you real quick, the reason they would feel good about then going, okay, you can lose Moses Moody or you can lose Buddy Hield to take on that contract, is because you're going to flip that contract to fill that spot.
Well, that and
ideally,
and even in that situation, Kyle, there's a good chance that they would say, okay, hey, we'll take both of those guys. We'll take a Zach Collins and we'll take Kevin Huerter. They're both expiring contracts. We'll take both those guys off your books and we'll give you Moses Moody in that deal, because then they now have roughly 37 million in expiring contracts and a first round pick. And they can go out and they can trade that for whatever. Right. But the fact is, that's not how it went. That's not what the Kings did. And that's why the LaVine contract, and again, this isn't a dig on, it's the contract that's the bad thing. I don't mind him as a player. I mean, he doesn't play defense, and it's tough to, have a perfect backcourt pairing with him. But
if Zach Collins was making, that was on RJ Barrett's contract at $26.75 million. We're not talking about Zach LaVine.
Oh, yeah. If Zach LaVine was on that contract. Yeah. No, not at all. You said Zach Collins.
Oh.
That's why I'm like, Zach LaVine. I'm like doing like advanced.
If Zach Collins was on a $26.75 million contract, then salute to him. I'm still punching him in the mouth.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Even if Zach LaVine was making $32 million, it's that extra 15 to 17 million that the Kings literally, they can't stomach right now.
Right.
I mean, even De'Aaron Fox, if you don't make the trade, De'Aaron Fox's contract was so much less than Zach LaVine's contract. We're talking $10 million less. That 10 million is what we keep talking about. That like sort of moving piece that you don't have. And so it just really, really hurts the Kings that they have a secondary guy who makes that much money, or your highest paid player now makes that much money, even opposed to what you would have paid Fox for this season.
Yeah.
It's just that giant leap in contract is really, really tough to maneuver.
Yeah. I'm looking at Jaden McDaniels' contract as a comp for Keegan Murray, just as a player. They're almost the exact same age. They're like 2 weeks apart. Jaden McDaniels makes $26.2 million annually. I think he's a little bit better defender than Keegan, but I think Keegan's a little bit better offensive player. So it kind of comes out in the wash. So if you're getting him at $24.4 million, I'd feel so good about that.
Yeah.
It's at their maxing him out where you start to go, all right, well, if you're doing that, you're going to need to get more from Keegan. But to your point, I don't think I don't think we're going to see a world where Keegan gets substantially worse. Even if you're on, and you and I and Kenny have talked about this in previous handoffs, but even if you're on Kenny's side of the Keegan Murray thing, where, hey, you know what, there's not a lot of room to grow offensively. He can make more shots, but this version where he's putting the ball on the deck and dribbling, like, you know what, we're just not there. That's fine. At $24.4 million, that's fine. You can be a 3-and-D wing at $24 million and be an effective player that nobody ever worries about how much money you're making.
Yep.
So that's where I kind of come down to, and that's why if in the current landscape, I think that's where if I'm the Kings, I'm very, very comfortable landing, because I don't think Keegan's going to become a bad player. I think he's too good.
Yeah.
But even if he doesn't become substantially better at $24.4 million at the player he is right now, if he just stays stagnant for the next 5 years, fine.
Yeah, you would hope that he's around 15 points per game. But it stays stagnant right around that.
Do you know what Jaden McDaniels averages?
12.
12.2.
Yeah.
Season before last, 10.5.
Yeah.
Year before that, 12.1. But he was second team all defense in 23-24.
Yeah. I would definitely, he can take a step. He can take a leap offensively. Keegan can.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if he does at $24.4 million, then you're getting a bargain. If he doesn't at 30 plus million, you got a little problem.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, we'll continue talking about this. We have a 49ers game on Saturday that we'll talk a little bit about during the handoff. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. D-Lo and KC going to join us for the handoff next year.